This man, this man is a monster. This man is easily the best trash talker in the UFC right now, bar none. His trash talk is just insane. I mean, even look at this cover photo. B Topuria. It goes along with his name. It's so unique. We're going to go into his Twitter here because he has been roasting everyone in the funniest ways possible. It is it's fun to watch. And he had an interview with Ariel, and he's cooking a dinner right now, just roasting everybody in the very simplest of ways. You guys don't understand. Like, for example, he just tells someone, he's like, you did steroids. You did steroids. How are the steroids going? I think he says, how are the drugs? You did steroids. It's just so hilarious. So if we look at his Twitter here, for Ilia Topuria, or as Conor calls them, Ili Top Toro. 100% Max has improved after fighting you. He must have realized that if he wanted to make a living from this, he couldn't be so bad as to lose to someone like you. Nowadays, he beats you easily. Dustin knocked you out in the rematches, and Nate beat you 2 times. Khabib humiliated you. This is to Conor McGregor, and it's Khabib humiliated you, and Floyd gave you a masterclass in boxing at 50 years old. Take a seat, kid. You're a fake fighter. All right, so that happened, and then when we go down to see more, this was just brutal. So Bilal Muhammad, no finishes, no knockouts, no knockdowns, no girlfriend, no kids. Bilal has never finished any man or woman. Dude, it gets wilder. Bilal crotch sniffer Muhammad. All right, so Islam and Ilia Topuria got into a little bit back or forth, and of course, with these Dagestani fighters, their cousins and their cousins, sisters, whatever, with inbreeding, they come out of the woodworks and they say, "Brother, you threatened my cousin. We kill you, brother, in street, brother." So Islam, all of his buddies came out against Topuria, sorry. And so Islam says, if Topuria continues in the same spirit, he may play himself. Something may happen. So far, I have not seen anyone cross any personal boundaries. So far, nothing like that has happened. Something may happen. So we have Islam trying to talk street talk, which in the years of the Dagestani fighters, has there ever been really any like street violence where you're like, whoa, don't mess with those guys? He's like, yeah, I believe the street talk. No, I really find it annoying. But Ilia says, I don't need to cross the line, but it seems like the kids that hang out with you will try to cross the line that they can't come back from. When he says kids, he means all of his cousins and whatnot. So let's leave the kids out of it and settle it like adults inside the Octagon 2025, because it was Usman Nurmagomedov. Usman says, let's see. So Usman was quick to respond to the featherweight remarks about his friend and sparring partner. So Usman asked Topuria if he has ever fought on the streets on one of his Instagram stories. So when did you ever fight on the streets, European boy? And Ilia says, it has been a long time, to be honest. How are you doing with drugs? Are you still on steroids? I love people like this. I love people who don't hold back. It's amazing. So, I mean, there's obviously more on his Twitter, but that's what I wanted to show you. And the best boxer in the UFC, he compares Max Holloway to these soccer players. Just, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The way these players swing their... I'm not even looking at Max right now. I'm looking at the soccer players. What the hell is that? Doesn't surprise me. So anyway, let's get to the Ariel Helwani interview. It starts at 5 minutes and it goes on for about, I wrote in the notes here. About like 10 minutes. So let's get into it here, guys.
Max, do you think you are going to win? We're gonna find out October 26th. We're gonna find out October 26th. Max, what's your surname? We're gonna find out October 26th. Uh, like everything I understood from that conversation was, we will find out what's gonna happen on October 26th. I already
I just want to replay this quick part. It was hilarious. Max, what's your surname?
know October 26th. We're gonna find out October 26th. Max, what's your surname? We're gonna find out October 26th.
Oh,
Like
it's so funny.
what's gonna happen on October 26th. I already know what's gonna happen on October 26th. I don't need to wait till that date.
Did it bother you when he was talking about the way you were speaking English? I know at one point you said, this is not my first language. Let's do it in Spanish, whatever.
I don't care, Ariel.
Okay.
I don't care. I'm trying my best. I was talking to his language, which is the only language he knows to speak. So if he wants to try to do it in Spanish and German and Russian and Georgian, I'm able to do it. So
That's a great response. Max is going at him about his English is poor, and it's like, I'm trying to speak in your language, but I mean, you could speak in my 5 languages I know. You can only speak English. That's a good response.
I don't care.
Fair enough. At one point you said that you believe that he didn't want to fight you, that he was trying to fight Michael Chandler.
Exactly.
Is that true? This is what you've heard?
Yeah.
Really?
He was avoiding to fight me all the time. He said something like, "No, I said to the UFC, I want the easiest fight. I want to fight with Ilia Topuria." That's a lie. A challenger never chooses fights. Never. I'm the champion. I choose who I want to fight next. And I said, I want to fight Max Holloway. And they told me he's asking to stay in the 155 division to fight with Mike Chandler. I don't know. He asked about many guys, and when they told him, no, Max, you have to fight with Ilia because he wants to fight you. So finally he had to accept it. But in the beginning he was trying really hard to avoid me.
And so why did you want to fight him and no one?
I believe that because Max is saying that he wasn't trying to fight, or I don't know if Max said he wasn't trying to fight and he was trying to fight Chandler, but I remember in the interview Max said, no, I wasn't ducking him. I was wanting to fight him for the belt. I remember, if you guys remember, I think Chandler even said this. They were talking about a Max versus Michael Chandler for a BMF title after McGregor pulled out, and they're like, yeah, Chandler might fight again. It'll be him and Max Holloway for the BMF title. And this was before when they were talking about the options of Chandler versus Oliveira, Chandler versus Holloway. So I believe Topuria here that Max was trying to stay at 155. I believe him.
One else at 145.
Especially too because Max talked about how he properly bulked up to 155 and he just fought at 155. So you would think he would want to stay there a couple more fights. He wouldn't want to then have to cut down to 145, especially now that he has more muscle. I believe, Ilia, that Max did not want to go to 145. It might have been just because of the weight cut. It might not have been because of Ilia Topuria.
Because I fought with Wolf, which was one of the biggest names in the featherweight division. And now we have Max Holloway, who fought with every champion that we had in the featherweight division. So I wanted to do that. And he had this performance in UFC 300 against Justin Gaethje. He got that BMF belt. So I wanna get it back and give it to George Masvidal when he comes back.
Okay, and
because that belt was created for and because of him. So no one else in my eyes is the BMF. I don't know, less Max Holloway.
So why isn't that belt on the line?
I don't know. Ask him. I don't know.
Do you think that was his decision or the UFC's decision?
I don't know, to be honest. But I don't care.
You're not bothered by it? Because it seems like you want the belt. Don't you want it?
No, I don't want it. I don't give a fuck about that belt, to be honest. But he calls himself the BMF, so we already know who is the world champion. And in the first seconds of the fight, we're gonna find out who is the real BMF, because I already challenged him in the first 10 seconds of the fight. I'm gonna point the ground, and we'll see. We'll see what he's going to do.
This would be incredible. He is going to run up at the very first second of the very first round, just walk up and point to the ground in the middle of the cage and challenge Holloway at his own game. If this happens, which it's going to happen, like, what else will he do? Like, what, shoot and try to take down? He's going to go up to the center of the cage and he's going to point down. This is going to be so exciting.
I will be in the middle of the octagon, so let's bang, bro. If you're ready, I was born ready.
And look at this here. On my way to Abu Dhabi, Max Holloway, you're fucked. This is the trash talk we need. This is the trash talk that we need.
So you are predicting this. You are saying first 10 seconds you're going to walk to the middle of the cage. You're going to point down.
First 10 seconds, I'm gonna point the middle of the octagon, and I will stay there.
Yes.
I want to give the best and the most excited 10 seconds in the UFC history to the fans. They deserve it.
Yes.
And if he stays in the middle, I promise I'm gonna knock him out. I'm gonna take his head off. I prepare myself for that. So,
do you think he'll meet you? Do you think he'll meet you there?
I don't know. We'll see. He's calling himself the BMF. So, that's one of the things we're gonna find out.
Right.
If he's the BMF, or he's a pussy like everyone who is predicting that I'm going to lose to Max Holloway.
Right. He's not the BMF, brother. So he says Max will find out if he's a pussy, just like everyone who says that he's going to win and Ilia will lose. So Ilia is about to get into the people who will predict that he will lose. I'm not sure who has predicted, but it's probably the usual suspects of Bisping, DC, everyone who's buddy with Max Holloway.
All the UFC fighters, I watched the predictions of all the UFC fighters. They are predicting that he's going to beat me. All the bums, fuck you, everyone. After I'm gonna knock him out. Don't even tell me hello if you see me around.
Who's
you?
All the bums, fuck everyone. I'm going to be so sad if he loses. I will be so sad if Ilia gets starched, dude. If he just goes unconscious on the ground, I will be so upset. Because, guys, you can be Max Holloway fans, and I know a lot of you are. For me, Max has never done it for me. He's just not exciting. He doesn't have the trash talk. He just says, it is what it is. We'll find out Saturday, brother. He's a streamer of video games too, which whatever. And his fighting in a lot of fights is just not exciting. I have been unfortunate enough to watch, I think I watched the first 2 Volk fights, not the last one, but the first 2 Volk fights. Those were some of the most boring fights I've ever seen.
Yourself, everyone.
Who's doing this? Who's saying this? Who's picking against you?
Not Ilia Volk, but Max Volk. Boring.
I don't know many fighters. I don't even wanna tell you the names.
Okay.
Because I don't wanna give importance about them. Fuck them all.
But you're taking notes.
I'm taking notes. Taking notes. They all like snakes in the grass, because they see you around and then they acting like a fans. But when they have to do something, no, Max is going to beat him. Maybe.
His Conor McGregor's coming out. They all like snakes in the grass. They see you and they all buddy, but then behind your back, oh, Max is going to knock him out.
They feel a little bit of envy.
Do you think part of it is because Max has been around for so long, and so they're paying homage to the legend, and you're so confident and you're the new champ, so they're leaning towards him just out of respect as opposed to what they really think is going to happen? Does that come to mind or no?
I don't care. I don't care. I just want them to.
So Helwani makes a good point where he says, like, these analysts, they respect Max because he's been around a long time. And I really think it shows a pitfall in the UFC where there's a lot of commentators and analysts on these MMA shows like DC and Bisping and Dominic Cruz and just these fighters of old of like 20 or when UFC bought Strikeforce, like 2011 up to like today. But these people like DC and Cormier, who fought, or DC Cormier and Bisping, for example, like from the late 2010 or early 2010s to then, Bisping was before that, but to the late 2010s. So the last time DC fought and retired was 2020. Bisping retired 2018. These people were around when Holloway was there as well. When these old fighters who are still fighting today, like Max Holloway, they were around when these analysts were around, like DC and Bisping. So they're all buddy-buddy. So you have people like DC, Bisping, and Dominic Cruz, who for the most part are all retired, like Dominic Cruz, I think, but everyone else is retired. But Max Holloway was in the UFC when they were, so they're all buddy-buddy. So what you have are these people picking, and they're picking their buddies, their friends, because DC's friends with a lot of these guys or trains with a lot of these guys. And then you have new people like Topuria from Europe or Georgia, and they don't know him, and they're just like, oh yeah, my boy Max is gonna win. Yeah. And that's what Ariel's saying. He's saying, do you think it's just because these people picking you to lose, they're just buddies with Max? He doesn't say are they buddies with Max. Well, he does say they're buddies with Max, but he says because Max has been in the game for so long. Ilia's been a fighter for a long time too.
Watch the fight October 26th and take notes about the new generation of MMA, about the skills, about the techniques, about everything that I'm gonna show them. I'm gonna teach them a little bit about MMA.
Yes.
By the way, can we clear up the belt situation? Because he said that you bought the belt. Did you in fact buy the PMF title? And if so, how much did it cost?
I don't know. Someone from my team, he bring it to me, but I don't know if he bought it or what he did. But I think he bought it.
Are you going to bring it to the fight or to the fight week?
Yeah. Of course. I'm gonna bring it. It's mine. I own it.
Fair enough.
I own it.
Fair enough. There is.
Maybe I think it's either Max doesn't want it on the line, or I think the UFC just doesn't want to make another belt because the BMF belt isn't on the line. Which is so stupid, but I mean, I understand because like Jorge Masvidal, I don't believe his was on the line after he beat Nate Diaz. And who was the other BMFs? I forget. Was it Gaethje? No, they just made a new one for Max and Gaethje. I forgot when else it was used, but yeah, it's just a one-time event. There's not going to be a lineage of champions for the BMF. It's just whenever the UFC does it. That's what it is. Is whenever the UFC doesn't have a title fight on the line, they make the BMF belt. They just will poof it out of nowhere. But on this card, since Ilia already has the title, they don't need to put the BMF on the line. So, and the UFC saves money from not having to manufacture a BMF title, because I'm sure it costs a few $1,000s to manufacture. Yeah, but it's kind of weird when you fight someone who has the BMF belt, who like just won it in a fantastic fashion like Max Holloway. And if he goes out there and starches Max, he will be like, he needs a BMF belt.
Is that shot, and he referenced it. They put you on camera after he knocked out Justin Gaethje, and people were saying that it looked like you didn't want him to win or that you were spooked by it. Can you tell us what you were thinking in that moment?
The first thing I said, it was like, thanks to God. It happens this way, because now we have a clear opponent for my next fight. So to be honest, I was really bored during the whole fight, watching two guys fighting inside the octagon, running around, uh, during 5 rounds, but the last 10 seconds were really excited for me, for the fans, for everyone. But I didn't see, to be honest, any technique behind that knockout, and he knows that. He knows that.
Yeah, Ilia didn't have the best reaction when the camera went on him. If I remember correctly, he was just like, it's not a good reaction to have when the camera's on you, because it does make you look shocked.
It was like exchange in the bar, and he get the knockout, but it wasn't because he was looking for the knockout.
You weren't impressed. You were impressed by the because I thought it was a very one-sided fight in his favor. Like some people have called it the fight of the year. I don't really think it was the fight of the year because it was so one-sided. Maybe the knockout of the year, but you're not.
Maybe the knockout of the year, because the only good thing about that fight was the last 10 seconds. But how you can say that it was the fight of the year? No fucking way. That wasn't the fight of the year. No way.
The
fight of the year was me against Volkanovski. That was the fight of the year.
Or maybe this one coming up on October 26th.
Yeah, maybe this one.
But
maybe this one. But this one is going to be like really, really, really fast. So
wow.
I don't know how it's going to be.
I believe this one will be fast. If they run to the center of the octagon and just start slugging, it might be really fast. Because someone's going to get clipped. Someone's going to get clipped. And just the length of the fight is going to get cut. When they're in the center and they're swinging at each other, and someone takes it on the cheek or the jaw, the fights, if they don't get knocked out, the fight will definitely not go 5 rounds.
Fight of the year.
When you say fast, you think first round?
I don't think I know that it's going to be in the first round. It's not on my level.
I don't think I know it's not going to be in the first, or I don't think I know it will be in the first round. He's not on my level. Just this basic trash talk here, what he just says, like, I know it's the first round. He's not my level. You don't hear a lot of it from these MMA people. People need to trash talk more like him.
Volkanovski, the guy who beat him 3 times, guy who whooped his ass for 3 times, I knocked him out in the second round. And what makes you think that I'm not gonna knock him out in the first round?
So you think that Alex tougher opponent than Max for you? Styles
for
make fights.
Sure. For me and for everyone.
Wow.
For me and for everyone. Alex was really, really tough opponent for me, and he's a tough opponent for everyone. He didn't lose in the featherweight division for how long? And Max, how many times he get whooped like in the featherweight division? He get beat by Conor McGregor. When you get beat by Conor McGregor, shut the fuck up. Fuck, bro, forget about it.
He's like a high school gossiper. This is what it's coming across as, though. He's like, he lost to Conor McGregor. Dude, when you get beat by Conor McGregor, shut the fuck up. Forget about it.
When Conor McGregor beats you, forget about it.
Okay, so let's talk about this. I saw him in Marbella, and I'm sure you saw this as well. He said he's more Spanish than you.
Yeah, he went to Marbella. He's more Spanish, yeah. I also...
Right. He's going to go in on Conor McGregor now.
So when I see myself in the mirror below my waist, I also think sometimes I'm more African than Francis Ngannou.
So when you hear him say that,
you guys didn't hear, he's like, yeah, when I look in the mirror below my waist, sometimes I think I'm more African than Francis Ngannou. And Ariel is just like, no response.
That what do you think?
He's a fake fighter. He fakes all the time that he's gonna fight. I'm fighting Mike Chandler. I'm fighting this, and the greatest comeback. Fight. Why you don't fight? Fighter fights every day.
What do you think is his issue with you?
Because
I've heard him mention you a lot, and he gets very, very fired up when talking about you.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him, but as I told you, he's a fake fighter.
He's got a point, because McGregor has called out Michael Chandler, now recently Dan Hooker, Floyd Mayweather, KSI. Who's another one? I think he even brought up Jeremy Stevens and BKFC. Bilal Muhammad. That's like 6 right there. And he doesn't fight any of them.
Fakes the fight all the time, but I don't see him fight. He's like, I'm gonna come back and this and that. Bro, fight. Put your name on the table. What the fuck are you doing? But he wants to be in the conversation all the time, but he doesn't want to fight. How's that?
Do you think he fights again? 2025?
If he fights, he's gonna try to come back and do something, but guess who's gonna pick? Dan Hooker. Bro.
What do you mean by
fight Dan Hooker, fight, I don't know who the fuck you want, but for me, he's retired. I don't want to even like talk about him. A guy who is retired, it's like I feel bad. But about a guy that talk about a guy who's retired, and he's at the same time retired.
But surely, like,
he's like, for me, he's retired. He's retired, and at the same time, retard. What makes him so great as a trash talker too is that his English is like at like a 75% level. So when he says things like retarded, he says retard. This dude's amazing. I swear to God, this dude's amazing. I don't even care that his whole persona is copied off Conor McGregor with his tattoos and everything. I don't care. His fighting style is so fun too. The way he punches, it's so good.
Ilia Topuria versus Conor McGregor, you would welcome this, right? If it's a real thing,
that's never gonna happen.
Never.
That's never gonna happen. Never.
Why?
How? Because I'm the world champion. He's not even in the rankings. How's that's gonna happen? But we can do something if he wants. For my next training camp, for my next fight, I invite him. And I don't know, I invite him with Dan Hooker, and they can do like 2.5 minutes one, 2.5 another. I change them each like every round. We can do that.
That's it. That's all you're interested in.
Yeah, because
this dude just brought up, I'll fight Dan Hooker and Conor McGregor like a Mortal Kombat type of style, or Marvel versus Capcom, where round number 1, I'll fight Dan Hooker for 2.5 minutes, and then he can switch out with a fresh Conor McGregor for 2.5 minutes, and I'll still beat them.
Official fight, that's impossible. And right now, at this point, I have much bigger fights than Conor McGregor.
See, this is the perfect response, because anytime McGregor can literally write a note like, I want to fight you, and pass it to someone like Bilal Muhammad. Bilal Muhammad will then make 2 fucking videos about fighting McGregor. Like, oh, you want to fight me? Conor, we're doing this again, Conor. We're going to fight me? You want to fight Bully B? And make huge deal about the call out when you know he's just trying to get into the headlines. The fucking Chad right here, Ilia Topuria, is like, no, we're not going to fight. How are we going to fight? I'm the champion. He's not even in the rankings. Like, I don't even want to fight. Like, I'm not even worried about Conor McGregor. I'm the champion fighting big, important fights. He's nothing. This is the perfect response. This dude knows it. He can fight, but he also can handle himself outside of the octagon. This dude is legit. And it makes me sad that, like, when I Google him, a lot of the stuff that comes up is all the stuff he's doing in Spain that the Spanish people, they know it. But I don't see any of it where I live now because it's not to my region. All his media stuff is in the region of Spain. So you don't see it, and it's very sad. I wish we saw more of him.
Conor McChicken.
I just unpause it, and I just hear Conor McChicken.
What he went to Marbella when I was in Abu Dhabi.
What's the issue with Islam? I see you guys going back and forth as well. What's the problem there? Do you feel like it's getting too personal?
No, I don't have anything personal with him. Anything personal with Islam. I don't have any issue. The only point is that He's the world champion in the lightweight division. I want to move up to lightweight division, and I want to face him and in the future. And if he's not anymore the lightweight champion because he lose his belt against someone, I don't even care about him.
Okay.
I wish him all the best. But I said something like I want to face him in the octagon, and all his cousins came out. When I see you on the street and when I see you around, I'm gonna do this and that. And oh, shut the fuck up. Shut up. You're not gonna do anything. Anything. So shut up.
You think they're trying to intimidate you?
How?
Because like, and I know
Telling me that they're gonna punch me around.
they said you went back and forth, or you said something about Usman as well. Like it just seemed like they were all kind of coming at you there.
That guy. They caught him with the steroids, right? In the last year.
With the PD.
That's why he's so nervous, because it affects a lot in the nervous system. Steroids.
He's talking about Usman Magomedov. Like, yeah, he's so nervous because he got caught with steroids in his system, right? So I think that was last year, and the steroids, the side effect, it makes you very nervous. So that's why he's like tweeting and stuff. It's just such a passive aggressive way of saying you're a steroid cheat. See, even it's so funny because I don't know with the way he delivers these burns, I guess. If he's delivering it in this like very dry humor way because of the language barrier, or if he like is doing it purposely.
That's why he's so angry all the time.
Okay, so there's no issue there with Islam, and that is good to hear. I did read your tweet about Bilal Muhammad, and this
is where it gets good. I mean, it was all good, but this is where it gets funny.
this
Conor is a fake fighter, and he's a fake champion.
What's the issue there?
Champion.
No finishes, no knockouts, no knockdowns,
no girlfriend, no kids.
Bilal has never finished.
Never finished any man or woman.
This is some kind of tweet. This is
because a real champion finishes fights. He knocks people out. He submits people. If not, how you call yourself a champion? I don't know. A world champion.
So what prompted this? Because you're 45, he's 170. That's not something that's happening anytime soon. So why did you start this, or why did you respond this way?
Because he said something like, "If you want a street fight, we're gonna street fight you. If you want this," he said some bullshit. I don't remember really good, but he said something about me that it was like, "Oh, finish someone, man or woman, it doesn't matter, but finish someone."
In a way, though, Ilia, isn't this the dream? Everyone's coming at you. Conor McGregor's coming at you. The 170 champs. Everyone's taking shots, and they're taking shots because you're the king of the division.
Bienvenidos.
Yes.
Bienvenidos. Bienvenidos. They want some lights right now because I'm shining right now. I'm shining. And after October 26th, I'm going to shine even more and more and more. And they are scared about the shine I bring. They are scared. And they want to take a little piece of that.
We spoke after the win over Volk, and we talked about Bernabeu, and we saw the footage of you coming out there and Sergio Ramos, and it was incredible.
All right, I think that's about yeah. So if he gets knocked out, or if he loses or anything, it'll be very sad, because it seems like he is one of the only UFC fighters who knows how to trash talk and promote. Just that Bilal line alone, like, guys, this is the best thing I've seen in a long ass time. I didn't even know this about Bilal. So no finishes, no knockouts. I mean, I knew that. No knockdowns. I knew that. Or no, I thought he had knockdowns, I guess. I don't know. But no girlfriend and no kids. That is, ooh. Bilal has never finished any man or woman. Wow. That is a very good if you were Bilal and you were tweeting at him like, "Oh yeah, in the streets, you know, like I would deal with you in the streets if I saw you," and he just responds, "No finishes, no knockouts, no knockdowns, no girlfriend, no kids. you've never finished any man or woman. I'd be like, oh shit, I better back off. This was perfect. Let me pull this back up for you guys. This was just a good ass tweet, guys. All right. That's all I got for this one. Like, comment, subscribe. If you made it this far, thank you. Appreciate it if you would subscribe if you like my content. And I'll see you guys in the next one.